interesting fact. The word predetermination isn't anywhere in federal or state law. Do you know that? That's right. You won't find it anywhere in the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, or your state's education code. So why are we even talking about it? Well, let me let you in on a little insider info. While the word doesn't appear in the law, the courts have made it crystal clear that predetermination is a big no-no when it comes to IEP meetings. Welcome to Disability Ed Pros. I'm Diana Fannin, epilepsy warrior, school psychologist, special education director, and autism mama. On this channel, I share evidence-based strategies, advocacy tips, and personal insights to empower parents of children with disabilities. If you're a parent of a child with disabilities, or if you work in a school, today's video is for you. We're diving into a super important topic, which is predetermination in IEP meetings. What it is, why it matters, and what schools and parents need to know in order to ensure the best outcomes for students. Schools are supposed to work with and view parents as equal members of the IEP team. But sometimes decisions about a child's placement or services are made before parents even walk in the door. That's what the courts call predetermination, and guess what? It's against the law because it denies parents their right to meaningful participation in the process. And that is part of the law. Parents have that right. So in cases like Deal v. Hamilton County Board of Education and PC v. Milford Exempted Village School District, the courts held that schools can't make decisions behind the scenes and then just expect parents to go along with it. I mean, come on, what's the point of the meeting if the decision's already made, right? But more importantly than that, it's denying parents their right, and it's missing the point of providing that individualized plan for the child. So while you won't find predetermination in the text of IDEA, it has been shaped by a lot of case law to protect one of the most important rights in special education, your right as a parent to be heard. Let's dive in and talk about how to spot predetermination and what to do if you suspect it's happening. So that's just a little background on predetermination. If you saw my earth-shattering IEP tips video, which I'll link here, I also talked a little bit about it there. But today's video is for a much deeper dive, a much more thorough look into what exactly is predetermination. So in special education, predetermination is when a school district makes decisions about a student's individualized education program, or IEP, before the IEP meeting without meaningful input from parents. This can happen when decisions like placement or services are decided beforehand, violating parents' rights to participate. Essentially, it's a procedural violation under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. Now, to avoid predetermination, IDEA effectively requires that school-based team members enter IEP meetings with an open mind. It's okay for team members to have opinions, but they need to be ready and willing to listen and to consider what parents have to say about their child's needs. For example, you might hear things like, "We don't do that here," or "Our district doesn't offer that service," or "Our district's policy is" fill in the blank. These are red flags that predetermination might be happening, and it can seriously undermine the collaborative process that's supposed to be at the heart of IEP meetings. So, what does it look like in practice? One of the biggest red flags is when parents aren't given the chance to provide meaningful input, or when decisions are clearly made, have been clearly made before the IEP meeting even starts, and it's obvious that the school or district team members are not planning to listen and are not wavering on their opinions no matter what parents say. So imagine walking into an IEP meeting and realizing that the school team has already decided on your child's placement or services without hearing your concerns, or considering your child's unique needs. That's predetermination in action. There are even cases where schools have been caught using pre-planning memos, and those memos show that they weren't open to input from parents during the meeting. For example, PC v. Milford Exempted Village School District in 2013 showed evidence of predetermination because the school made decisions without considering the parents' input. We've talked about what predetermination is. It's also important to understand what it isn't. So, for example, if a school drafts an IEP in advance and sends it home to the parents for review, and then works with parents during the meeting to finalize it and make changes, that's not predetermination, that's preparation. So if the school adjusts its plans based on parents' input during the meeting, that's how a collaborative process is supposed to work. Another example, if a parent chooses to end discussions, but the IEP team is still willing to continue, that's not predetermination either. That's the parent exercising their rights. And parents have a lot of rights. And that's a really, really good thing since it's their child. So, one key distinction to make is the difference between predetermination and preparation. Schools should come prepared for the IEP meeting by doing research, by thinking about placement options, being ready to discuss them. So, we don't want teams to show up as a blank slate. We just don't want final decisions to be made without parent input. So, coming with ideas, coming with options, that is a really, really good thing. We want that. So, one of the things that happened, or one of the court cases that is used as an example, is Doyle v. Arlington County School Board from 2000. The court ruled that while a school can't finalize a placement decision before an IEP meeting, it can and should come to the table with some options in mind. Preparation is fine, as long as the school remains open to change. Having discussions ahead of time isn't predetermination, as long as the final decisions are made with parent input during the meeting. So, what should schools do to avoid predetermination and to ensure they follow the law? So, we're looking for transparency and collaboration. Schools need to enter every IEP meeting with an open mind and listen to parent input. Ask questions, gather information from the parent, and be ready to make changes based on any new information you gain, particularly if it contradicts any existing information you already have. This might mean that you need to add a new assessment or gather some additional information based on what the parent is telling you. Avoid blanket statements like, "We don't do that here," or "We've decided that." Or, I'm going to add another one here that you don't hear too much as predetermination, but the IEP team feels that because the parent is part of the IEP team. Those types of comments can shut down collaboration and discourage parent involvement. Document everything carefully. Notes and drafts are fine as long as they show the decision-making process is ongoing, collaborative, and flexible. So, what should parents know? Now, talking about what parents need to know is that parents, you are incredibly important and you have the right to be an equal participant in your child's IEP process. If you feel the decisions have already been made, don't hesitate to ask questions. Questions like, "When did you decide this?" Or "How did you arrive at this conclusion when I haven't had an opportunity to share anything yet?" Those are really, really important. If you hear comments like, "We don't do that," some of the things that I mentioned earlier, remind the team that IDEA requires consideration of your child's individual needs, not just what is common practice or policy in the district. You also have the right to ask for additional meetings if your concerns aren't fully addressed in one meeting. In the end, avoiding predetermination isn't just about following the law. It's about making sure parents have a voice and that every child gets the support that they need. Schools and parents need to work together in the spirit of collaboration, keeping an open mind, and being flexible as we navigate the best path for our kids. Thank you all so much for watching. If there's anything that you feel like you want to hear more about, drop it in the comment. If you have any experience with this, I'd love to hear that too. And I will be back soon with more. Thank y'all.